Hello, welcome into my video. I'm going to be talking about Girl Feminism and the problems I feel are within the feminist movement that I think we are actually correcting, but how we got to that point or how I see that ourselves getting to that point, and just talking about my feelings on femininity itself and the hatred that's rooted within the feminist movement toward femininity. I know it's a really deep video today. I'm also going to be getting ready with you because for some reason you guys watch them. My makeup looks are just okay and they're generally very similar, but I thank you guys so much for watching them. Also, my TikTok blew up. That's why I'm making this video. I made a TikTok about this issue itself and it like blew up, and then my channel just kind of blew up. So anyone who's from my TikTok, thank you so much for supporting me. Didn't see that coming. I'm Logan Michon. I'm a sommelier student, and this channel is basically about like me loving just pink as a part of like intersectionality of being a woman who loves pink and being a black woman who loves pink, and then also being a person who loves to cook and host parties and stuff and do all kinds of random film things. F-E-M-M-E things, not film. And I'll be getting more into regular content as things are lifting here in DC. So I've been switching over from every Thursday to every other Thursday because these things are going to take a lot more time to edit and put together. So we're going to be actually getting into the content I actually want to create because I started this channel when there was literally nothing else to do. So let's just get into it. Oh, by the by, if you like me, please like me. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. And all my other social media stuff is going to be down below, as well as some links to some more videos because a lot of people have touched on this topic, but I wanted to touch on this topic from my perspective. Hello, so we're just gonna get into a few things because this channel will be a lot of soft femininity, and I just want to say I'm a feminist. And it's something I have to explain to people all the time because I don't know, I am a very feminine person because right now we are dealing with the issue of a divide in the feminist movement. But thankfully we're trying to bridge that gap. But if you don't know, whenever there's like a feminist movement or a women's rights movement, there's always been a divide between like the good women and the bad women, which I think is not good. The tribalism is huge right now, especially in America. The us versus them thing is no bueno. And also, there's a mob mentality that's existing because of the internet that is way worse. I mean, it started with TV, but the internet did escalate it pretty drastically. So I wanted to get into first, Girl Feminism and the divides between the feminist movement and women in general, and then we'll talk specifically about Megan Fox. Now, I am linking 2 videos down below that are even maybe 3 that further explain the situation in depth, but I wanted to talk about it from this perspective because there are already videos that talk about it, so I don't want to just make another video that's the same thing. But let's just talk about the divides in women's rights and the feminist movement through the ages. So suffrage was about race. The divide between the good feminists and the bad feminists was race. It kind of still is race, but I'm just saying it's the like peak divide during that movement. So if you don't know, Susan B. Anthony was definitely a racist. She was mostly upset about black people getting the right to vote before like women did, and she was not like hard R in the quotes. So if you might want to look that one up, that was not a fun thing to discover. And then more recently during like the 60s, the divide was between like the Marylands versus the Jackies, and you should be able to do what you want without judgment, and yet they're judging each other left and right. Like there is such a catty divide between like the house, like the like more prude, and I don't even like the word prude, but like deciding to be more like sexually or not being sexually awakened or not being promiscuous versus like the women who are like you do what you want and they hated each other. And now our wave is the I'm not like other girls brand of mean girl feminists and femininity, just femininity in general. And I don't understand how there was a hatred of femininity and no one noticed, and it took way longer than it should have for us to notice that little like trend within feminist movement this time around in the 90s. Because the 90s was hard for the I'm not like other girls trope. So I do my makeup a little different. So I moisturized first to make sure my skin is nice and taut. And now I'm going to prime my face. Then I'm going to powder my face. Then I'm going to spray setting spray. Let that dry and then apply my base. So okay, so the divide right now is the housewives, basically the stay-at-homes versus the working. And I think it's rooted not only in just misogyny itself, but capitalism, because we find that things that have monetary value are more like valuable than things that have intrinsic value, which is not true. It's just like super not true. So this idea, and then like also a hatred of just like femininity in general, because there's like the idea that like being a stay-at-home mom is not enough, which it is. It's a valued position in the home just as much as going to work. But also with that narrative, because both people are working, if you had not, it's like not only, okay, so what I'm trying to say is right now, both people most likely have to work unless you're extraordinarily rich due to the way that things have turned out in our economy. So I think that also adds to the like stigmatization of stay-at-homes. But also you need to talk about like the teenage girls and their like of pink, and how when you're growing up as a teenager, especially when I was a teenager, liking more masculine things was seen as cool because people who liked more girly things were teased. So women started taking on more masculine things as a teenager, which led into their adulthood due to them being just like trying to avoid being chastised in their development years, which is wrong. That's why I was going through a whole thing, or multiple things, with regards to the color pink, which I did a whole video on. But that was like another couple of issues. Generally speaking, things that are more feminine roles in society tend to make less money. And so that's just like, that's the issue. It's not the fact that people are choosing to do those jobs, it's that those jobs don't make a lot of money. Like, but also when men take on those roles in society, they somehow make money. So let's talk about that. Like, women are usually teachers, but professors make most of the money, and most of those people are men. Or women, like like a feminine role is like cooking, but once it's a chef, then it's all men. You know what I mean? Like, that's the issue. Not women who like cooking, not women who want to teach. The issue is that the issue is that somehow when men get involved, it makes more money. That's the problem. It's the system, not the person, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, let's talk about Megan Fox. So I just want to, right before we get into Megan Fox, I do want to bring up just one thing just to make what I'm talking about a little bit more clear. Have you heard the song Stupid Girls? That's what I'm talking about in regards to like mean girl feminism. It's like mean girl feminism is like when women themselves are pushing misogynistic ideas onto other women to shame them because they feel a sense of superiority for taking on masculine roles. Deep rooted, internalized misogyny within women ourselves. But let's get into the Megan Fox of it all. Oh, by the way, I don't like foundation. I'm not a huge fan of it. So I'm going to be using concealer and just blending it out really heavily. This is the Neutrogena. Ooh, that did not help. This is the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Radiant Concealer. Megan Fox started out as a mean girl on television, which I don't really like the whole mean girl dumb jock trope on TV because it's most likely not true, and it ends up taking the light away from the real issues in high school. It's not, and it also gives this weird like revenge fantasy idea of like, oh, those people that you hated in high school, they won't thrive. They will thrive. I'm sorry, the people that you hated in high school are gonna thrive. And most of the time I don't believe that the people you hated in high school are out to get you. Like, I think that maybe you're just I think that I know that there are some mean girls and there are some dumb jobs that are aggressive and mean and awful, but it's them thriving in a system that is flawed. It's them navigating a system that is flawed. They thrive because of the money. Like that's what made them popular to begin with. They end up doing sports because it costs money to do sports. They end up being smarter and paid more attention to in school because of like their position, most likely, and then their attractiveness, which is they tend to be smarter because teachers tend to pay more attention to attractive children. And generally speaking, I think that you're not ugly, you're poor is a huge thing. Just from like a psychology and sociology standpoint. They end up being smarter, and then also they end up going to better colleges, not only because they can afford it, but because their parents also went to those colleges, and being a legacy helps out a lot. So this idea that the mean girl from your high school or the dumbed out from your high school will eventually get their comeuppance, and that you lean on that narrative for support isn't helping. It really just makes you obsessed with someone who doesn't really care or know anything about you. Just us. So, Megan Fox playing a mean girl for the majority of her Disney star years was not good. I mean, she was amazing at it. She has comic timing, which is very difficult, and she leaned into the role really well, and she has really stunning looks. So, didn't really help her narrative with women though, especially since she was going to need the support of women drastically coming into her earlier years outside of Disney. So because she played a mean girl so well, people did not separate that from her actual personality. And I think that her having a dry sense of humor kind of escalated that as well. We need to stop thinking that actors are their characters, because they are not. But so the public not liking her what started when she was a teenager. And then we get into the Michael Bay of it all. So when Megan Fox is 15 years old, she is an extra on Bad Boys, which was directed by Michael Bay. And Michael Bay was trying to sit her at a bar, but she was too young. Like legally, there's laws in America that are like, you can't sit someone at a bar if they're not of age to drink, even if it's in a movie. And so he decided to put her in a bikini and put her underneath a waterfall, which is gross. I'd like to remind you, she was 15. Has she brought this up? Yes, twice on national television. The crowds wooed, which is disgusting. And both men who were these hosts of these shows didn't like immediately be like, that's gross. They're like, I mean, you're kind of hot. I'm like, but she was 15. That's gross. So we get into her auditioning for the Transformers, where Michael Bay, yet again, put her in a bikini for the audition and told her to wash his car while he taped it. I mean, she's 18 at this point, but still gross. Still very, 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 very gross. Very, very gross. She gets the role as Michaela Baines. You know, like Michael Bay, Michaela Baines. There's something extra creepy about her playing a role that was named after Michael Bay. Like, I don't know, his obsession with her is kind of just super apparent. I have no idea how we missed this. Oh wait, yes I do. Because we decided we've been wanting to hate her. So, the entire time on the set, she made complaints about being uncomfortable and how she was treated by Michael Bay, which totally believable considering how her history with him before even getting on the set. And then he fired her because she was making these complaints. And he denied that he fired her and every single time he was asked, because he kept blaming it on Steven Spielberg. But Steven Spielberg was like, has denied it. He has personally denied that he fired Megan Fox. He did not fire her for being difficult to work with. That's just a narrative pushed by Michael Bay. And I just want to talk about the timing being super sus on the whole, like, her getting fired situation. She was in a long-term relationship with someone else. And then she got married. And then she was fired from Transformers. So what I think really happened was Michael Bay was super, super sad and his ego was really bruised when the girl he's been obsessed with since she was 15, gross, got married to someone else. And then he fired her. And that's what happened. And then he took some time to go on GQ and just bash her name afterwards. And then let's just talk about what the other catalyst to the situation of people just starting to hate Megan Fox. So she was signed onto a movie called Jennifer's Body. And I love this movie. I loved it when it came out, but also I was not out, so I couldn't just say I like the movie. It's a very like LGBTQ positive movie. And it came out when I was like in high school. I was in high school. I was a 14-year-old when it came out. I think we're gonna do the math and I'll put it up there. But anyway, if you don't know, the movie was made by Diablo Cody. Diablo Cody is an amazing feminist writer, but she also used to be a stripper, which does not help her optics with dudes because, of course, once again, bring it up. If you're doing it for free as a woman, it's fine, but the second you have money, you're the worst. And I think that applies to being a stripper. But she's a feminist writer who writes witty, smart women. And she gets a lot of hate for that, which, first of all, she writes characters that don't talk realistically. No movie character talks realistically. Absolutely no movie character talks realistically. You're mad because her female characters are smart. But that being said, she had an all-female cast, or she had an all-female led movie team, and then she cast a woman who's starting to get hate from both feminists for being like the epitome of just like a male fantasy, but that's like, Megan Fox did not choose to be a male fantasy. Hollywood made her that, and she was uncomfortable with it, and she made complaints about it, and she was sexually harassed in the workplace, and her hatred was completely unwarranted. Partnered up with a feminist who writes smart characters on a female-led movie that was marketed to dudes. Like, if you go, I'm gonna link the video down below, of course, of why the marketing for Jennifer's Body was just like super duper wrong. Super duper wrong. But so the movie came out, it was marketed to the wrong people, and maybe like, and then around the time the movie came out was around the time that Michael Bay's interview came out about Megan Fox being difficult to work with. So she was getting hate on both sides. I think that we as a society, especially on the internet, have an issue with hating someone, not because they did something wrong per se, but because you're envious of them. And so the second they mess up even the slightest, we want to cancel them completely. Cancel culture is good for things that deserve cancel culture. Mob mentality is bad in general, because I don't think that one person is smart, but people aren't smart. And we quickly will make snap judgments based on our perception of a person before even getting the facts, i.e. James Charles. The second there was the people who were mad at James Charles and the people who canceled James Charles, I think, and I'm not talking about the I'm not even gonna say his name because I'm not trying to get his trolls, the Voldemort man and the child molester who partnered up together to try to take him down. I'm talking about the people who joined the bandwagon. I truly think that they already were envious of James Charles. They already were geared up and ready to hate him because he was becoming too popular too fast. And so the second there's even a remote chance to gang up on someone who's too high on their horse, they did it. They're like, And this goes back to me saying that being obsessed with someone because you think their life is better than yours and you think it's unfair is not a healthy way to live, and it's not them being the problem. Once again, the system that they're thriving in is the problem. If you are mad at someone for just existing in their like most happy or truthful self, you are the problem, not them. The system is the problem that they're thriving in, and you are latching onto an idea that doesn't exist. The mean girl from your prom queen is probably just fine. Stop obsessing. Stop rooting for someone's demise. It's unhealthy. Yeah. The feminist movement turned her back on a person who deserved support because of envy, because of mean girl feminism, which isn't even feminism, it's just internalized misogyny, and because of this idea that if someone's doing well, they don't need help. But most of the time when someone looks like they're doing well, they're not actually doing well. They're just good at masking it. So I'm gonna contour with this. What color is this? I have espresso. Oh, my actual skin color one is Java. I hate the names of black people's shades in makeup. It makes me irritated because we're not food. I have a full Starbucks coffee drink title for all of my shade names. But I'm gonna go in and do the nose contour. I like girly things. I like cooking, I like hosting parties, I like shopping, I like pink. And that choice to like those things does not make me less of a feminist. Those choices to like those things does not make me stupid. It just means that I like those things. Nose is contoured completely. I'm gonna go in with some highlighter. I have two different highlighters I like using. I have the Benefit, like What's Up. And then I like the Glossier. Okay, so this is the Topaz Glossier. I'm gonna go in and just get my cheekbones. I like this a lot because I like to lay down a bigger base of highlighter and then just go in and make a more defined highlighting point with a lighter, more glitzed up highlighter. So this one will just look like a natural glow from within, and then I'll go on top of it with the other highlighter. I'm not gonna put this one on my nose because I want it to be very, very defined. So I'm only gonna put the What's Up on my nose. And I'm just gonna blend this one out. But back to the point. I think we are making progress, though, on stopping just hating femininity itself as a whole. I think we're starting to recognize the I'm not like other girlsness being just another form of misogyny. I think we're starting to recognize the issues with pay discrepancy in general, and I'm proud of us about that. What we now need to focus on is the capitalism angle of the whole thing. Okay, things that I'm happy about in regards to change. Number one, women writing stories. There's so many women just in Hollywood just writing stories, more nuanced stories about women. Like, I'm so tired of the Wine's Wedding Baby version of women on television. Wine's Wedding Babies, Wine's Weddings Babies, Wine's Weddings Babies. Like, versions of, like, things on television. Like, women have other issues than marriage to, like, talk about on television. I love that. And then I love the nuance. Like, seeing a character be bad and good that's female, because usually you get like the bad female who have very similar traits all the way down, and you get the good female who has all similar traits all the way down. But now we're getting people that are like both bad and good. Things that I'm talking about, like Mrs. America is incredible. Highly recommend it. It really goes over a lot of the things I was talking about, but also talks about the negative things on both sides. It's an incredible miniseries. Please watch it. Please watch it. And then also Little Fires Everywhere does an amazing job, not only talking about differences between like motherhood, which is beautiful. It also talks about like intersectionality in regards to race and class, which is just like chef's kiss. Like, there's just so much more to people than one thing, and I I'm super happy that that story's starting to get told. So I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna go in with the color on my lip and on my cheek, and I'm gonna use the exact same color on both. So a little smear of the Revlon matte. I do just go in, brush my brush off, and smear a little bit on my cheek. Just a little bit on my cheek. And then I blend it in with my blender. And look, a little blush moment. And I like when my lip color and my cheek color match because it looks a little bit more natural that way. And I do just do the little inside lip situation where it looks like a little kiss of color. Just on the inside. Then I blend it out. So it's like a flush of color, not a whole moment of color. Let's go in with the highlighter, the super highlighter. On just I like to do a little dot at the edge of my nose. Get a little button, make a little button, and then just the straight line down the top of my nose, just here. Boom. And I'm gonna put on lashes, I'll take my hair down, and then we'll finish up the video. Lashes are on and I'm back and the hair is down. Let's do that weird slow-mo thing. Back to the issue. I honestly think that we have made progress. I'm proud. I'm proud of the progress we've made. She's getting a redemption arc. It's great. Megan Fox is getting a redemption arc. That's fantastic. We are starting to recognize the hate, the internalized misogyny, and starting to praise women that we thought we hated, but in actuality we're just jealous of. We're starting to support each other and understand that the real issues isn't dealt with other people, but within the system itself, which is good. That was the video. I will see you guys next Thursday, or I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. I post every other Thursday, and it'll be a birthday vlog. I'm turning 26. I'm so excited. So we'll be doing, I tend to have a lot of get-togethers because I have different groups of friends who do different kinds of jobs, and so they're available at all kinds of different times. So I'm going to a Michelin star restaurant. I'll give you some feedback on that. Me or my friends are going horseback riding because I'm a horse girl, and we are going to go to a winery. It's gonna be great. I'll give you all the details, and if you want to check it out on the day of, I'll be posting on the 22nd and the 25th on my Instagram, and I'll be linked. Those things will be linked below as well. I love you guys. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.